which I've decided to change slightly. Instead of the role of the outsider, which I will be explaining, I wish to call this speech the power of the outsider. Now, I have a personal confession to make, and that is that I am an outsider. And I'm guessing, although I've never met most of you before in my life, that there's a few of us in this room tonight. And allow me to say for myself, and perhaps for you as well, that being an outsider is painful and lonely and perplexing. But there is a message that I wish to deliver to you tonight that is urgent, because it's something that is very, very seldom recognized or spoken of in our society, and that is the role and the power of the outsider. So what is an outsider? How do they get to be outsiders? What does it feel like? Why does society need an outsider? What role do they play? And all of that, it is my privilege to give you just a little bit of information tonight. The role of the outsider is one of great change in society. Civilization, workplaces, academia, science, it doesn't matter what realm or milieu you are talking about, there are power structures that form, hegemonies, if you will. There are people who are ascendant, they're at the top of the power structure, and there are people in the middle whose job it is to uphold the mores, the ideas, the powerful foundation of which created our present zeitgeist or civilization or political entities, whatever it is, whatever sphere that you work in. These are established. And while they're established, we cannot conceive that anything could ever be different. But down at the bottom are the outsiders. They see things differently, and that's dangerous to the hegemony, to the people in power at the top. And that is why they are marginalized, rejected, not listened to, because their ideas come so far outside of the mainstream that people instinctively fear it, because they know, and rightly so, that outsiders are dangerous. Outsiders, by the very definition of the term, have a different viewpoint. And they look at things in such a different way that people are deeply threatened by that. And if you have been an outsider, then you know as well as I do that that is a very uncomfortable place to be and a perplexing thing to experience. However, nothing in this world has ever changed without the role of the outsider coming up from the top like a percolating pot or a powerful stream of pure water bubbling with intensity up to the surface, inexorably, inextricably, unavoidably being felt first by the people in the middle, who may look in the vast, vast numbers of people in the middle, who may look at the message that the outsider gives and say, oh, this is the worst thing ever, this is awful, we have to stop them, we must sweep them away, we must marginalize them. But bit by bit, if you persevere, your message will become considered. It will be heard first by just a few people, and then by more and more. And so people will begin to sort of say, you know, maybe that's not such a bad idea. Maybe this wouldn't be the end of the world if we made some changes. And there is nothing in the world that has ever held back the outsider's vision, ability to persuade, and their fresh viewpoint. Because as the hegemony, as the established order gets stifling and ossified and straitjacketed, and people are beginning to notice the cracks and the things that they don't like, sooner or later, those cracks will give way. And when that does, it is cataclysmic. It happens suddenly. Suddenly there's a new order. Suddenly there's a new invention, or a new way of doing things, or a new way of appreciating how we relate to one another. Think back on all of the great people who you admire throughout history. Were they outsiders? I'm thinking that your heroes were outsiders, and they struggled against exactly the thing that I've been telling you about. But the thing is that it will vanish in an instant and be replaced by these amazing ideas. And so if you find yourself to be an outsider, just hold on and wait a minute. Your time is coming, and you too can change the world. Thank you so much.